Centre. Oh, this could be an opening. The man they want to have the opening. It's Lawrence Shackleton. That is the moment. The moment that matters.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Hearts and Sleeves podcast. It is a podcast all about Heart of Midlothian Football Club, its fans, and the ups and downs we experience on the way, both on and off the pitch. We're down one member, but we're up one member because we've got Adam here and we've got Trunter back once again. So let's go straight to you, Trunter. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing really good. Weather's helping a lot. It's I just nipped out to the shop and like sort of 8:30, and I was like, bloody hell, it's still light. It's great.
Proper lifts the mood when it's nice and sunny again, eh?
Aye, massively. I'm going to work when it's light, and I'm coming home when it's light, and I feel like I can do stuff after work again. Like I've been out for some runs and stuff, and it's just I think I'd forgotten how much of a role like the dark nights had played in me being down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's great.
Well, hopefully there'll be some sunshine on Leith on Sunday,
Whey!
but only for the Maroon persuasion. And Trunter will be there along with myself and Adam. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks. Got family stuff going on, so it's a bit of a strange time at the moment. But happy to have football to distract me from everything.
Well, I know things have been tough for you again, Adam. Sorry it's been so challenging once again for you and your family, but I'm really looking forward to us all hanging out on Sunday and hopefully we can talk about how things are all going. What's your general feeling about Sunday, you guys? Obviously, we're going to come into the meat of it later on, but a general feeling, as in nervous, excited. How are you all feeling?
I'm absolutely bricking it. This is going to be my first Easter Road derby in something like 30 years. So just for that alone, I'm bricking it. But we were talking in the chat about how you guys were freaking out and thinking about it all the time and dreaming about it, and I'm going, what total nerds? God, get over it. And as I sort of rushed about, I was a bit late for the podcast today. And I started just thinking about it while I was driving, and I was going, "Oh my god, this is gonna. This feels like the game." And so now it's hit me quite suddenly now. So now I'm on board now. I'm absolutely bricking it, but I'm positive. I feel positive. It's huge.
Adam, I know that you rarely think of big games that are coming up, so I can't imagine the derbies crossed your thoughts whatsoever over the last week or so.
I mean, I've been to dozens of derbies at Easter Road, so I've got a slightly different experience than Trunter's had. But this one certainly feels a bit different. I mean, I'm always nervous before a derby, but I'm not normally nervous a week before a derby, so it's. I'm excited about it as well, though. I mean, we've had a week off without a game, and there's like an amazing a massive last 5 games coming up, so I'm really excited. But at the same time, yeah, the most nervous I've been about a derby for a few years, certainly.
Hmm. I guess I'm kind of in the middle because obviously you've been to next to no Edinburgh derbies, but at Easter Road, Trunter, Adam's been to a fuck ton, and I've been to just a handful. However, I've never seen us win at Easter Road. So, I mean, you can look at it in two ways. You can think, well, Jamie's just like obviously a bad luck charm, or opposite, opposite of a good luck charm anyway. Uh, or am I just simply due a victory at Easter Road? We shall see.
Well,
Hopefully, it is the latter.
I mean, I've been to 2 games with Trunter this season. We haven't won either of them, and I'm going with you. You haven't won. We haven't won a derby at Easter Road with you there. So I'm hoping I'll be the good luck charm for this one.
All signs point to. All right, yeah, let's not. But it's also, I suppose, it's one of the things, isn't it? Because they always say, form goes out the window, all that kind of thing for an Edinburgh derby. But I mean, it's fair to say that home advantage is counted for a huge amount over the past few games at these in the Edinburgh Derby. It's, I think I'm jumping ahead too far here because I do want us to sort of look at everything and look at what all the possible positive aspects of it and what might prove to be a challenge. But it has been one where home form does seem to have carried a lot of weight in the past few games, I think. What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
I'm not a massive believer of the kind of form goes out the window idea. I mean, I think the form does matter, and I think the fact that we are top of the league does make a big difference. So the part that is worrying me, rather than the sort of form in derbies, I think the part that's worrying me a little bit is our away form. But I do think with Shanklin back, Devlin back, we need to go into this game with confidence. We've got reason to go into the game with some confidence. Like, I don't think it's going to go like the last derby went at Easter Road anyway. So yeah, I think I think the fact that we're top of the league counts for a lot, and I don't think it's just any old derby. I don't think the form goes entirely out the window, and I think the fact that we are the better team this season should hopefully see us get over the line.
Yeah, and the other thing I mentioned last week, Trent, you weren't here, but I mentioned that McInnes has said one of the things he really wants to focus on is correcting or changing the dynamics or previous failures earlier on this season. One of those ones was defeating Motherwell because not beat them at all this season, and that's one of the things checked off his list. The next one he wants to get checked off his list is Hibs, and I'm sure that's kind of going to be the team talk or play part of it. Look at the things you've not done this season. Let's set these as little challenges. I mean, how much challenges do you need to put into it for an Edinburgh Derby? But I know he will be desperate to try and get a result against Hibs at Easter Road for all manner of reasons.
I hope he's desperate that we're not playing catch up, because that's what I've been thinking. We always seem to be playing catch up. Too much to do. It's my heart can't take it.
No. Well, let's just put that on the back burner for now. We'll talk thoroughly about the derby in 2 minutes. But there's been a couple of interesting developments since we last came on, and one of them is that we've apparently signed or on the verge of signing Tom Renaud on a pre-contract. He's 25 years old, currently plays in the French third tier with Versailles. And that is the highest level he's ever played at in football, and spent the rest of his career either in the B team for Lorient or at SO Cholet, an 8th tier French team. He is basically Jamestown as fuck. A defensive midfielder, and given that neither Benny nor Devlin have signed contract, I don't think it's that big a surprise we've signed someone for a defensive midfield position. Thoughts on this signing, Trunter?
Well, it is Jamestown as fudge. I love that. It's so obscure, but given that we know nothing about him, let's be honest. Like,
give me your in-depth analysis about how he plays.
Exactly. That's the problem, isn't it? Like, it's we're just gonna have to find out. I mean, Rogers Mato's been here for a while now, and I know nothing about him either. But I'm to the point now where I'm sort of trusting the Jamestown stuff. There might, he must have something that he excels at. I'd love to know specifically what that is, what he's being brought in as. It is. Yeah, like if it's that kind of defensive. I want to know what's happening with Benny as well, though. I saw a thing on, I don't know if it was like Edinburgh Evening Hearts news alerts or whatever thing is on Facebook popped up, and it goes, 2 Hearts players sign contract extensions, and it's clickbait as hell. It was like a couple of youth players, but I immediately go, oh god, is it Benny news? But anyway, yeah, new guy, no idea, mate.
I think one of the sort of, I mean, we're looking at what our midfield's going to probably shape up like next season. With defensive midfield, I think by the looks of things, we're trying to develop our midfield into ones that can defend and also provide more creative outlets. Now, I know Benny and Devlin have both been bringing elements of that, but I just think they're trying to add further, develop what our midfield can do. Now, I think Renault, from what little I know, I think he falls into that mold. Someone who can offer a bit more, I guess, a bit more of the Magnussen rather than the Devlin. Is what I'm thinking. And I wonder if if we sign, if we manage to sign Mark Leonard as well, then what would your midfield look like? You've got a Joe, Leonard, Magnussen, and this guy Renaud. Renaud. Sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce it. Renaud.
Yeah, I like that. Renaud.
Yeah, let's go for that. Renaud.
If our pal
Um,
Christian's listening, he might be like slating us for our terrible pronunciations. Sorry, Christian.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of. You never know. I'm not saying that Devlin and Benny aren't going to sign, but yeah, the fact we've signed another one, and we've already got quite a bit of depth there. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being both Benny and Devlin's last Edinburgh derby. Also,
Oh
Tom,
God.
yeah, I know. It's one of those things I hadn't even thought about because I was speaking to Andy, our Hibs friend, and he was going, Boyle will want to go out on a high with his last ever derby. He's like, well, actually, it could be a whole manner of different, I mean, if you look throughout our team, two that jumped to mind were Devlin and Benny, but it could be the last derby for quite a few of them. Yeah. Um, so Tom Renault is a favourite of Hearts on Sleeves already because I wrote on his Instagram in French. I'm not going to say, I obviously use Google Translate, but I said to him, "Welcome to the famous, my brother," and he gave it a like. So that's
Legend.
confirmation. That is confirmation he has signed the pre-contract. How are you feeling about this one then, Adam?
Kind of what Trunter said. I think we just put our faith in the system now. I think what we'll see is some signings will be great, some won't work out, but more often than not, I think they'll work out under the analytics. And I think we're going to see a lot of signings like this that are lower tier. We've already done that in the summer. I mean, the main thing for me is just getting business done early. This could be our second signing already. The season's not over. So I think that's one thing we'll also see from the analytics is maybe getting business done a lot earlier rather than scrambling about in August. So I think it's a positive. I think in terms of what you were saying, yeah. So Benny and Devlin obviously might leave. I'm still struggling to see us sign Mark Leonard permanently because I'd imagine he's on an absolutely massive wage. I think it might depend maybe on where we finish in the league. Like, do we have our sights set even higher than him? Like, can we afford him? I'm less convinced that we'll see him next year, but I kind of feel like we might have one of Benny or Devlin next year. It wouldn't shock me if we signed one of them, but I think there's more chance of that than Leonard signing. But that's just based on a hunch, basically.
Benny or Devlin, you can only choose one. Which one are you picking?
Devlin. And I love Benny. Absolutely love him, but Devlin's something else.
What about you, Adam? Same?
That's a difficult one. I mean, I'd say Devlin's had the better season, but I mean, I think I'd say Devlin, but it's a really tough one because I think Benny's brilliant. I think he was one of maybe the player of the season last year for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd be happy with either. I guess I'd go for Devlin on based on this season, but I'd be delighted if either of them stayed.
Yeah, I mean it's a win-win, right? They've
Yeah.
both had so much, and they are similar in some ways, but they do also have their own particular skill set. And yeah, I think for me, Devlin seems to just really be. Benny came in at a really high level, and what I would say is when he's obviously been fit, and he seems to have been fit for quite some time now, so that doesn't really play into my thinking. I don't think he'd get another season-ending injury or anything like that. But yeah, he's maintained that particularly high standard throughout, and I do think Devlin's been one who has just improved year on year. So who's to say that Devlin might be able to even add further to that?
Yeah, and I
But
think
yeah,
sorry, I think I'd imagine it feels like if we tried to keep Benny, he'd stay, and if we tried to keep Devlin, he might well leave because he'll get a better offer.
mhm,
So I think with Benny, it comes down to more if we want to keep him. I'm not sure how well Benny would show up in the analytics, just in terms of all the injuries he's had.
yeah,
But it does feel like he'd probably stay if we made an offer, whereas Devlin, we may not have a choice. I'd imagine that's kind of the situation at the moment. Devlin will obviously get a decent offer, maybe like England, a decent English Championship team maybe would come in for him. I don't know if he's looking at that or if he's looking at Europe. Hard
yeah.
to
I mean,
say.
one of the rumors doing rounds. I think this is just general social media pish, but I did read that Celtic were interested in him. Again, I don't
Ugh,
know what's in that. It's. I mean, you could do bigger and better than Celtic. Let's be honest. Like signing a new contract with Hearts.
Uh,
uh, yeah, it'd be interesting.
does he
And
want?
again, even sorry, yeah, on you go.
Does he want to step down though?
Yeah, exactly.
mm,
He's one of those ones
That's
I could see him doing well in like MLS as well. And you'd probably get a hefty wedge there as well. So
yeah.
yeah. You could move to another continent. He's in the Australia team.
mm,
Um, I'd be interested to see how he'd get on at a European team though. I'm not sure if that would be his move though.
yeah,
But I'd be absolutely devastated if he went to Celtic. So let's just hope that's absolute crap,
yeah. I
because
just
that would be. I mean, I'm hoping with us doing this well, we're not going to be losing guys to Celtic and Rangers, or I'd be pretty gutted.
thing is, we wouldn't necessarily be losing him to them. I presume that he's running out of his contract,
Yeah.
so it's not like they'd be buying him off us or anything like that. So
No, but we'd be making him an offer, and he'd be turning us down to go to Celtic instead. So it wouldn't be direct, but it would still feel pretty gutting.
yeah,
Anyway, I don't think we need to worry. We don't need to worry about
I
Devlin
just
playing for
don't see him
Celtic
doing
yet.
that. Yeah, I just don't see
No,
him doing that. He seems like a proper Hearts man, right? The official title.
I don't think it'd be a
And
good move for his career
yeah,
either. Like, I don't
yeah,
think. I think he's been in Scotland for years. I'm hoping if he wants to move on, he wants to test himself at another level, not just stay in the same league. That
mhm,
would be my gut instinct on him. And he also, you like to think he wouldn't want to let us down, but I'm sure when you get offered money,
you
that
do, yeah.
that changes things. But
I
I
ref-
just can't. I can't see it.
yeah. I refuse to believe when contract offers come in. I get, look, this is all just social media. There might be zero interest, but I'm just saying that I don't think, even if Celtic were to offer him a contract, I don't think they'd be the only club to do that. Put it that way. I
Oh,
think
certainly not. Yeah.
there'd be plenty of interest, and I'm sure the teams that are interested could offer him a decent amount as well. Obviously Celtic have got deep pockets, but there's plenty of teams, as you've mentioned, in the Championship, further afield like the MLS, who could also pay out big bucks to him.
Couldn't handle it. It's Paul Hartley all over again if that happened.
yeah,
Yeah, but the Hartley one felt different to me because we all knew he'd always been a Celtic fan,
Yeah.
and we'd also kept like Hartley. Celtic had already made an offer for him ages before, a couple of years before at least.
Mhm.
I think before Burley came in, remember Celtic were after him. So we always kind of knew Hartley wanted to go to Celtic. So to me, whilst it was like pretty gutting seeing him at Celtic, it felt a bit different because it was kind of inevitable. Whereas, an Australian guy like Devlin going to them with no connection to them, to me that'd feel worse, just because it would be a bit of a shock.
It's quite interesting with Hartley. Like, he seems to have still held fairly positive favour with Jambos, hasn't he?
I
Despite
wouldn't
the
say
move.
fairly positive. I would say like he's still absolutely loved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen him at games. I've seen him at games before. I
Mhm.
remember seeing him at Hampden, like in the Hearts End with his son years ago. So I think he's still incredibly popular, and I don't think the Celtic connection really damaged anything with him
Yeah.
because he never came back and did anything like chest thumping or anything.
Mentioning no names. Yeah.
But I think we let him and Presley and Gordon off with it to an extent because it was fucking madness under Vlad, and it was you're clearly that unhappy at your place of work. You can't really hold that again. And we knew what was going on by that point as well. So it was like when they left, we were kind of like, yeah, fair enough. It must be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's true. And if you're losing Devlin after potentially winning the league, it's a totally
Yeah.
different situation. And like obviously even if we don't win the league, we're in like a very like the most positive state we've been in for years. So I think that's a good point that the circumstances you leave in make a difference to how people view who you sign for.
But whilst we are on the topic of pre-contract, so Tom Marino, again, we don't know for certain. Nothing official has been put out, but it's all signs seem quite positive that he's on the verge or already has signed a pre-contract. One that we know has signed a pre-contract is Josh McPake, recently named in the Championship Team of the Year. Now, so the pre-contract thing, Hearts evidently want to get their players tied down and join the rest of the team as soon as possible. But I'm just kind of wondering if there is another side of it. For example, given the issues we faced in January trying to get a striker, I believe it was probably Amadou Bassé, where his team effectively started adding zeros onto his asking price, presumably when they realised it was a Jamestown finding. I'm wondering, is pre-contract therefore going to be our way round this? We've mentioned in the past just that, teams knowing that we are a Jamestown run model, that perhaps players that we're picking up through that are kind of hidden gems within their team, are actually worth more than they realise. So is what Hearts doing at the moment, is this part of their plan to get round that?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that before. Well done.
I mean, there might be absolutely nothing in this, but it's just kind of a thought that came to me. Again, it might just be that what I mentioned, that Hearts are just wanting to get business done as soon as possible. They've seen an opportunity, gone for it. And obviously, we want to try and get players in as soon as possible so you can settle in. We know with a lot of our players, there's been some settling in time. And that kind of makes that window a bit bigger, that they have time to come along and settle in. But is there another part to it? I don't know.
I think it's a good point. I mean, I think we'll see a combination. We've shown that we're not scared to spend money as well. So I think it'll be a combination of like standard transfers and pre-contracts as well. So it'll be interesting to see, yeah, if we sign more than normal. I don't know what we normally do. I'm not sure what our standard kind of. How many pre-contracts do we get each season? I'm not even sure what our average would be to compare.
Yeah.
We get them occasionally, right? But I wouldn't say we get tons.
Occasionally, yeah.
But yeah, we might see more. I think it's obviously it's a good way of getting players for free.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think we'll spend a decent amount of money in the summer, to be honest, as well. Especially, if someone like Braga's potentially going for big money, I think we'll sign another guy for $1 million plus in the summer.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think 100% will do that.
Yeah, So I think it'll be maybe with the analytics, it's just easier if we've got like a sort of database of players. I don't know. Maybe it's easier to identify good guys to get on a pre-contract. It feels like less of a. I don't know. It feels like more of a certainty when we're going for the pre-contract guys because we're doing it on the basis of data. So maybe it's an easier signing to make than it used to be in the past. I've got no idea. I mean, I didn't actually. I was just looking. I didn't realize McPake had also scored 19 goals this season. He scored his
Yeah.
19th at the
Yeah.
weekend, so that's quite an exciting signing as well.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think we'll maybe see another one or two pre-contracts. Wouldn't surprise me based on it's only April and we've already got our second potentially.
Hmm.
Although I guess we don't have that much more time to get pre-contracts given the season's almost over. But maybe we'll see one or two more.
Another player who may well come into contention next season, who knows? But he's done incredibly well at Montrose, and just this week picked up four awards for his time at Montrose. Callum Sandilands, he seems to be really one of the picks of our loan players. He kind of plays, I think, is it more of a sort of second striker kind of role, Sandilands. It'd be great if we had some, homegrown players coming into this. Again, I think he's going to be, his future will be dictated by the Jamestown, but I just thought it's worth mentioning that there are loan players of our own who seem to have done really well. I believe he's still got like a year or something on his contract with us, so we do have that option to bring him in and potentially get him involved in some pre-season friendlies when the time comes.
He swept everything, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Player of the Year, Fans Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year, Goodest Boy, Best in Show, everything.
And the B team just played their last ever game, so I guess we'll be seeing a lot more guys going out on loan like Sandilands next year. And I think that's meant to be the model now, isn't it? That we get the data for all our youngsters. So I guess we'll see how he shows up in the analytics, but looks like he's had a great season. It would be great as well, yeah, like you said, to see some youngsters come through. Because it's been a while, I'd say, since anyone's. I mean, I know Wilson's played a bit, but he didn't feature much this season until he left on loan. So it'd be nice to see the occasional youngster break through because it does feel like it's a little bit harder at the moment. But in the last few years, I don't think we've had that many guys who have really played a lot of games. We've obviously had like Forrester, guys like that, but they've never really stayed in the team. So it would be nice to see it happening more often.
Absolutely, and you just think that the window for youth players to actually make an impression is just so small now, with considering the way we approach things, signing these players from lower leagues to come straight in and have an impact. There's just so little chance of players like Sunderland's to get a chance. Really, one of a few opportunities to do that is during pre-season. I don't know, maybe that's your lot, really, unless they have an exceptional. I guess one thing that could be done for Sandilands is get some time during pre-season and then shipped off to an even bigger loan club, and that's his chance to improve on his averages and make himself even further recognised on Jamestown. I think that's the most likely way that youth players of ours are going to get a chance these days, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and he's going to be 21 in September, so you kind of feel like he's got a breakthrough in the next season
Yeah,
or two.
definitely.
Like maybe next season might be maybe you send him out on loan first half of the season, and if he does well, you give him a chance second half of the season. But I think I think the other problem which we've spoken about in recent episodes is just we're losing 2 or 3 16-year-olds. So the challenge moving forward seems to be that we are going to lose more of our promising youngsters.
Hmm.
So I guess it's can you keep the players who are actually going to have an impact in the first team? Because the guys who would have had an impact in the past are the ones that are leaving at 16 to English clubs. So it's trying to. either convince those guys to stay or managing to keep managing to just have a guy who's a sort of late bloomer and becomes one of our better players at like 18, 19, and it hasn't been spotted by Man U, Man City, all these teams.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem, and that might be why signing lower league guys who like McPake, who have they're still relatively young, but they've already made their career in the lower leagues. That might be the path we see more in the future.
I can't remember if we've mentioned this, but did our B team have much in the way of Jamestown analytics?
I don't know, just because I don't know how far down from what I've read online, I'm sure the analytics was more interested in the guys going out on loan
Mm-hmm.
at a higher level. I don't know. I'm not really sure how it works when it's like tier 5 of the pyramid, and I feel like what I've read online is they wanted guys to go out on loan, but you don't know how much truth there is in it. I
Okay.
just don't know. I don't know if does analytics cover loan league? I don't really know. Does
Yeah.
it go down that far? Who knows?
Well, I mean, two of those players, you kind of touched on it earlier, Trunter, that did agree new contracts before the B team becomes history. Was goalkeeper Jack Lyon and midfielder Charlie Sanders. They're both 17. I think Jack Lyon is one of those guys that I think could be really good for us. I don't know much about Charlie Sanders. However, Jack Lyon, I know I think he's made the bench for us already. 17 years old. So fingers crossed both of them have an impact at some point. So then, let's look towards the Hibs game. Now, before we do that, let's have an Edinburgh Derby-esque quiz to ease us in. And I will start. My question for yourselves is as follows. So there are currently 8 players in our squad who have scored against Hibs. Can you name them all? Now, you'll get a bonus point if you can name how many goals you've scored against Hibs. And 2 of the players have scored goals against them, but not at Hearts. There we go. Do you want to start, Trunter?
Absolutely not. No, go to Adam.
Okay, Adam. Do you want to start with a player and, for a bonus point, guess how many goals they've scored?
Wait, so I'm saying a player that scored against Hibs, but
Who's in
then
the
it's how
current
many,
Hearts squad
and it's how many goals they've scored against Hibs overall
for the
as well.
bonus point? Yep.
Okay, well, Magnuson and scored once against Hibs.
Correct. So that's 2 points you've got.
Sorry, I was really hesitant. I don't know if for some reason I wasn't following very basic and simple instructions.
It's all right. Right. Trunter, yourself.
Christian Nade. I know it's current squad. Shanks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't know how many goals against Hibs Shanks has scored.
I mean, it's a bonus point, to be fair, so.
I'll go 3.
Incorrect. Shall I do steal? No, I won't do steal. But you're right. So
Yeah,
you
let's
get
do
1
steal.
point for Shankland. For shits and giggles, though, Adam, how many do you think he scored against them?
5.
Also incorrect, anyway. It's 6.
Right.
Okay, so 6 left. On you go. Back to you, Adam.
Halkett
Correct.
and 2.
Incorrect. It was 1.
One.
Well done.
Of course. It's just been
Oh.
at us for so long, you know.
Yeah. Okay, right. Yourself, Trunter?
And trying to think who scored recently. Alan Forrest.
Well done. And how many has he scored?
1.
Brilliant. Bonus point.
I'm well chuffed with that one.
And what a goal it was for them as well. For us, I
Yeah.
should say, not for them.
Yeah.
Adam, the score is 3-3.
Tammy Devlin,
Correct. How many goals?
1.
He gets a bonus point as well. Yeah. Okay. Trunter, over to you.
Winging it now. Blair Spittle.
Correct.
1.
Correct.
Get in.
5-5. And by the way, that's one of the players who'd scored before Hearts against Hibs. Right. Adam,
Stephen Kingsley,
correct. How
Oh,
many
of
has he
course.
scored?
1.
The correct answer is 2.
What was it
Still,
other than the free kick? What was the other
Yeah, I
one?
was
no
gonna say.
idea.
That free kick goal, John still has the ball from that game.
I remember him
No
saying
way.
that is
Boyce-
amazing.
Liam Boyce kicked it into the stand at the end of the game, and we were miles up. Kicked it into the stand, and John caught the ball. And if he's listening, I'll tell the story of him knocking the kids out the way and grabbing the ball. But genuinely, I mean, John caught the ball, and then I think someone said to their kid, "Oh, he'll give the ball to you." And John, rightfully, John kept it. And we went into a shop after the match just to get a carrier bag so that John could hide it in case someone tried to steal it off him. But yeah, John still got the ball from that match. So that's a really good memory from Hampden.
Right, Trunter, have you got any more for me?
I don't know. I was just thinking who might have been at another club, but Findlay.
Well done. Yep.
Oh,
Has he
well
got
done.
one?
And how many are you saying?
1 for Kelly, or is it 1 for Hearts?
Well, what are you thinking? Is your guess 1?
My guess is 1, but it's not 1, is it?
It's 1.
Ah! Come on!
Taking you up to 7. So let me just double check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So that is the full 8 that your brother's written down. But I can actually think of another one. But he's currently on loan.
Stander. He scored against Hibs, didn't he? For Ross County.
Correct. In that case, I can think of 2.
Stander definitely got one, right? Because I remember.
He did. Because do you
sure he
remember that
did.
celebration right in front of the Hibs fans before he joined
Yeah, it was
them?
wasn't it after we'd already signed them? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
That weird to think that's probably his best moment for Hearts, and he wasn't even playing for us. I suppose he scored quite a nice goal in the League Cup, didn't he? Or
James Wilson.
correct, James Wilson.
Yes,
Yeah,
at Easter Road.
yeah.
But
Oh
So-
yeah, no. The Dander
need to-
League Cup goal, is that the one that I watched with you in Pullman?
Yeah, that's the
And
one.
we watched on the tiniest TV imaginable, and I came out of it saying, it wasn't that good a goal. And then we watched the highlights, and it was like, okay, it was amazing.
Yeah, an actual
We were
screamer,
watching
however.
we were watching it on the tiniest TV in a pub I've ever seen.
It's like one of those TVs you'd have back when you're a student, and you'd manage to buy for 30 quid off whatever it was back then, maybe the evening news for sale pages, that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so technically Trunter won. You can both win. I'm being generous here because
We're both
technically
winners.
Trunter won with the current squad, but for the ones that are out on loan, Adam won that part. So
But I want to go to
every
VAR for that because he just jumped in before he even had a go.
I'm
I mean,
happy. I'm happy to
I
give
wouldn't have got
Trunter the
Dan
win.
that.
But listen, I am someone who does not care about who wins these quizzes.
We know.
In that spirit, I am more than happy for Trunter to win this one. So well done, Trunter. You definitely
Well
you
done.
won. You won in 90 minutes. I won. I stole the extra time without giving you a chance. So Trunter, you win.
Thank you. Do you know,
I don't.
I've been so off the boil with the football recently, and I've had so much going on with like work and stuff. Genuinely, when you came to me the first time, I could only think of a handful of current Hearts players. Like just in that moment, I was just like deer in headlights. So I'm glad I got there.
Well, and I'm so worried about the derby. I don't even care about winning this quiz. So that's how messed up I am at the moment.
Right, Trunter,
That's a
you've
good quiz,
got
though. A really good quiz.
I mean, credit to your brother for that one. That was. So yeah, Trunter, you've got the name the club quiz, haven't you?
I do have the name the club quiz. I'm gonna go with, and let me check. I'm just double checking I did get it right. Yeah, I'm golden. I was right. Okay, so I'm going with what's the club that connects Danny Granger with Neil McFarlane?
Is it an English team?
I'm not sure if I can give away that bit of
All
information.
right, okay.
Carlisle,
It's not Carlisle.
St Johnston,
All right, this team played in Scotland. Played in Scotland.
Gretna.
I fucked it, didn't I, by saying played in Scotland?
Yeah, that's
I
why.
don't know why I didn't just leave it hanging. What an arse! What a total arse I am.
That's why I got it. I thought that was a massive clue. Was
I
that
know
not
that's why you
intentional?
got it. As soon as I said it, I'm like, I've just absolutely scunnered myself there.
It was nowhere near my mind until you gave what I thought was meant to be a clue.
That's why I
Thanks,
said
Tom.
that's why I said I can't tell you what country it's in because it took me I was like, wait, did they always play in Scotland? What was it? And they're dead now.
Yeah.
And oh,
Well, thanks, Turner.
it's
Well,
all
there
right,
you
mate.
go.
That helped.
You got
We're
your
s-
win after all, Adam. So
we're eexy peeksies now at the Just Solid.
That's him doing me a favor after him winning the first quiz. Thanks.
hmm.
That was a really
No,
good one though, because like Gretna are like what went out of business, and one of the more obscure clubs that link two of our players, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Apart from how John can probably get like a French second tier team that some of our guys played for, because he's obviously the expert at the game.
See when John's not on and we've got stuff that's like overly football-y and overly like knowledgey, particularly with the quizzes. The difference is ridiculous because we can sort of, I mean, we edit it, but sometimes we get like two answers between the lot of us, and then John comes on the next week and he's got about 20 answers that we didn't even know from doing our research. Bastard.
Yeah.
so the Edinburgh Derby, Sunday 4:30. Probably the biggest one since 2012. I can't really think of much bigger, to be honest. Hibs, their last game was against Aberdeen. That was a 2-0 loss, and that included a sending off for Grant Hanley, meaning he will be banned for this one. Prior
Scotland
to
International Grant Hanley
Scotland International ahead
of
of
Hawks.
Hawks, indeed, yep. But prior to this game, they won 3-0 against Killie, but this was in fact their first win since beating Celtic at Parkhead way back in February. They've had, in that interim period, draws against Dundee, Motherwell and Livy. Now, the Killie game, I don't know if you've seen or read anything about it, is a bit of a funny one for them because they were really quality in that first half. I mean, scored within seconds of the game starting, and it was 2-0 going on like 4-0 by the end of that first half. However, I mean, the second half, it's quite amazing that Kilmarnock didn't come back into it, because they had 8 shots to Hibs 1. However, they only just managed the 1 shot on target, both of them. Hibs were the ones who managed to score from their 1. Yeah, so I mean, despite that scoreline, they were actually pretty uneven. Yeah, they've been a funny team, Hibs, and there's some players in there that I do think will cause us problems. There's a couple that I think have flattered to deceive a wee bit for them. A big thing for us, obviously, Hanley is out. I still think he can be a very solid player on his day, so I do think that is beneficial to us, him being out. Josh Mulligan, I think he's still likely to not play any part. He's been out since January. Haslak, I think he's been quite solid for them. He's the right back. Suto, he's a bit of a super sub. They do have a bit of pace within their strikers, Hibs. How are you feeling about this one? What's your feelings, first of all, about Hibs as a team, Trunter?
Unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who. I mean, and like we always say, it goes out if you can't guess what's going to happen in the derby at the best of times, but weaker than us on paper, I'd say definitely. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember why it came up, but I was just talking to someone the other day about Dane Scarlett as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was about like we've got Wilson going to Spurs on loan and Scarlett coming from Spurs to Hibs on loan, and I had to look him up because he's one of these guys I always sort of sign on FIFA, or used to sign on FIFA when he was younger. And I remember when I heard that he was coming to Hibs, I was going, "Oh God, he's going to be smashing them in." But he's not got a sausage yet, has he?
So when I said that there's players who've flattered to deceive, he was exactly one I was thinking about.
There you go.
He's just not really set the heather alight since here. He's still starting a lot of their games, and he's starting against Aberdeen, for example. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I remember him playing against us when we played them, and Magnuson scored the winner. I think he's got a decent amount of pace to him. He's one of those guys I think could, in theory, cause us problems. But yeah, he's not done a great deal. On, when I was speaking to Andy, our Hibs friend, he said he's kind of been the disappointment of the January window. Probably disappointment signing wise in general. To be perfectly honest, the one that he does seem to speak fairly positively about is that Suto signing, because he's kind of got all the hallmarks of a cult player. So he's not actually scored that much, but he's a bit of a huddy. Apparently doesn't like Hearts, so he'll be pure Ganton. Boyle's an interesting one as well. I mean, we all know what Boyle's capable of, right?
Yeah.
He's got pace, but he has looked a bit off the Martin Boyle since for the past few games. But he's a player you can never quite rule out, because he was a guy that will find spaces. His finishing's not been up to much lately, but he's always going to be able to find spaces. And this is why I really want Halkett to be the top of this game, because he's going to be facing pacey players, and so's Finlay. But Finlay being back in their team, I think, is also huge for us. Adam, your thought? Sorry, you go, Trunter.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in a wee bit about Boyle first, because Adam brought up earlier that it's going to be his last derby, and I think he'll be so ridiculously up for it at Easter Road, and he'll be wanting it because he popped one over the crossbar against us last time, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's going to be like the wild card. He's going to be can fire in his belly for this one.
Yeah, and he didn't actually start against Aberdeen, but I mean, she's surely one of those players that you can imagine is going to be rolled out for this one alongside Bushiri. The usual ones who always want to be, the Hibs always want to have involved for a derby.
The Caddens always seem to do all right.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, what's your thoughts on that Hibs team?
Well, Twinter summed it up pretty well, saying unpredictable. I mean, their form, 1 win in 5 is not good at all. I didn't even realise until you mentioned the Killy game, they only had 3 shots on target and they won 3-0. So, despite the scoreline, it's obviously not as good as it sounds. But, 1 win in 5 games. They drew against Livingston at home. I know we drew away. And then they losing to Aberdeen away. It's a really bad result this season. So I think they're really, really patchy. They won at Parkhead before that. But their last few games, I think it gives us some confidence. They've only got 1 win in 5 games. I think they're a team that I still don't think they're that great. I've got to say, I think Hibs are always made out to be better than they are. And on paper, we should absolutely be winning this game. And I hope, I hoped when McInnes came in, one of the things I was thinking was that's it, we're going to turn the Derby record around. Not that Hibs were dominating, but we weren't dominating as much as we normally do. And, losing at Easterwood last time was just absolutely gutting, given how the season's gone. And I really hope, McInnes and the players have learned from the last derby. Because even the last derby gives me some hope. I mean, the last away derby gives me some hope in that Hibs were 3-0 up and coasting and they almost blew it. Which suggests, they've got issues with mentality, because if you're 3-0 up and absolutely coasting to almost end up drawing that game, I think that was pretty alarming from a Hibs point of view. So I do think they're vulnerable, and I think if we start well and if we go 1-0 up, I think we can be pretty confident we'll win. I don't think you can really take them being 3-0 up in the last derby as a sign of what's going to happen this time. So I think we're favourites. So it's just, really, really hard to predict what's going to happen. But with Shankland, I think we're favourites. Without him, I'd be worried. But with Shankland in the team, I think we are favourites.
I think Hanley being out is actually bigger than we're making it out to be as well, because that's so much experience, and we obviously we think Halks is head and shoulders clear of him in like ability and stuff, but you take him out of the center of that defense, like his leadership, his experience, that is actually a massive asset for us.
We had, when Craig Cairns was on, one of the things he mentioned was sort of those intangibles, and I think Hanley's one of those players that does have those intangibles, that sort of leadership, communication, that sort of thing, the cool head. That's kind of what I hope Hibs will lack with him being out with that squad.
To be fair, he only kept his cool head for a quarter of an hour in the last game.
That's right. So maybe that's a bad.
You're fine.
Yeah, and one of the things that really changed that game, that 3-all, sorry, no, wish it's 3-all, the 3-2 game, Adam, was the introduction of Benny. For me, I think he's got to start on Sunday.
Yeah.
What are people's thoughts then? I know midfield's kind of one of the big ones, one of the big talking points. Is it just as simple as we go for Devlin and Benny in midfield, or does Leonard get a chance here?
Is Leonard fit?
Yeah, he'll be back in contention. He was just missed last time because he was sent off against Livy.
Oh, of course, yeah. My bad.
I reckon you've got to go for Devlin and Benny. I wish I'd written it down, but Devlin and Benny's record together when they've started is like absolutely incredible this season. I don't know if you know the stat, Jamie, off the top of your head, but
11,
I mean,
11 out of 12, I think it was, something like that.
yeah,
It is ridiculous. You're right.
I think they've got to start. I mean, I think Leonard's still got a key place in the team in the remaining games, but I would definitely be starting Benny and Devlin. And like you said, when Benny came on, he made such an impact last time. He even almost scored, but I think he was kind of the turning point. So
Hmm.
I'd be starting both of them. I mean, can you ever start both of them and Leonard together? Probably not in this game, but
Hmm.
I guess it's an
Did we
option.
did we try that at one point? No, we didn't, did we? Because Devlin was already injured. Was he injured already by the time that Leonard got here?
No, I don't believe there's been anything because, Leonard really came in to act as
Yeah.
cover. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
to me, the three of them together, part of me would love it, but also I'm not convinced you're quite getting the width with that because a player like,
No.
for example, I know John wasn't happy with Spittle, Devlin, and Benny playing all together in the Motherwell game. But at the same time, I just think Spittle offers that something a bit different. He can go a bit further out, whereas I know, look, we've we've not seen a huge amount from Leonard, but he just seems more centralised as a player. That's not to say it can't be done. I just don't. Certainly not for the derby.
I'm not suggesting it. I was just
Yeah,
thinking out loud.
yeah,
I mean,
totally.
I think you go Benny and Devlin for this one for sure. I would 100% do that.
So, I mean, we know that McEntee was injured. I think it's been actually quite positive news about him, but I'm not convinced he'll be risked for this game. It's the age-old debate who comes in at right back for this one. My initial thought is it'll probably be Steinwender.
Yeah, he's a
Anyone
thought so.
else? I
I'm
mean,
going 100% Borchgrevink.
yeah, why not?
Nah. I think Steinwender is a slightly worrying prospect after the last derby there. But
Yeah,
I think that's probably who he'd go for. I can't see Altona starting
No, me neither.
at right back for the derby. Um, so I think it'll probably. I mean, I'm hoping McEntee's still fit, comes back, but if not, I think he'd probably go for Steinwender. Yeah.
look, the other one I did have. I'm pretty certain it'll be Steinwender, right? If McEntee's not available, I'm quite certain, knowing McInnes, he's not a huge risk taker with these sorts of things. We can probably assume it will be Steinwender. I guess the other one that could potentially be even ahead of Altina would be Kingsley at right back. Do you think he might do something like that if we've got the possibility of playing Milne back in the team again?
Mm,
I don't know. I think Kingsley'd probably be sort of more of a centre back than a right back. Yeah, has he played right back much?
I would be a little bit worried about that. I mean, what about more of a kind of 3-5-2?
Yeah,
Steinwender, Halkett, Finlay, and then you have Milne and Altona as well.
that'd be an interesting one.
That could be an option in terms of
Yeah.
having three centre backs basically, and then having Altona and Milne as more attacking players who can
Mhm.
also obviously defend. I'm thinking I can't see Kingsley. I don't think Kingsley will play at all. Well, I don't think Kingsley will start. I can't see it at the moment, but that's one option I could maybe see
Mhm.
ahead
I
of
mean,
Kingsley playing. I think.
obviously Milne's been out for a while, but by the looks of things, he's back training, back running. Hopefully, that's given him enough time to be ready to start against Hibs. If he's match fit, then I mean, it's an absolute given that he will start. I suppose if he's not at full strength, I could still imagine Milne being on the bench, and if that was the case, Kingsley would start at left back. Then we think, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if Milne wasn't available, yeah.
Yeah. I think kind of the rest of the team. Then I'm guessing Kizaridis Dead cert, as always. We can talk about his performances in recent games, but he's got that Barry Mackay, can pull something out of his arse at a drop of a hat. So he's always got to play, certainly from McInnes's point of view. I think he feels he's a player that should always be playing. So that kind of leaves on the, I suppose it depends which side he decides to play Kizaridis at. Who else makes a team then? We know that Braga and Shankland will be starting. That's a given. Who else are we playing then? So you've got players like Chesnikov, you've got Spittle. We always mention him, so might as well. Kurjota could, in theory, start. And he has got a good record against Hibs after all. Who are we thinking in? Who is that extra man in there?
I mean, I still really like Spittle.
Mhm.
Like, and he's kind of not like a total jack of all trades, but he can kind of slot him in as need be, depending on what we're doing with like that midfield.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I think Spittle. I think Spittle is the one you play. I can't see Chesnikov starting. I'd be really
Yeah.
shocked if he started Chesnikov, to be honest.
I still just don't know quite what to make of Chesnikov as of yet. We've talked about how he's not really had that game that's announced his arrival, put it that way. There's been a couple of solid-ish performances, but generally speaking, there's certainly been games where he's been just entirely anonymous. So
Yeah.
why would you? I just can't see.
Not at
McInnes
Easter Road. I think that's the wrong
Yeah,
game for
exactly.
him, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's exactly the kind of game where he does risk being, that empty shirt. So that would be, I think we've kind of got our team there, really.
Yeah.
And I'd be quite happy with that, to be entirely honest. And that still provides even with that. So assuming Altena doesn't start, then you've got the impact of a player like him, you've got the impact of a player like Kurjota, and you've got, reliable backups such as McCart, Kabori. I think he's kind of found his niche as an impact player, Kabori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, you've got your wild cards such as Mato and so forth. So to me, that's a team I'm confident can do the job against Hibs on Sunday. So our game against Hibs will be the final one of that weekend of fixtures. Just have a look what else there is.
Did you boys talk about how when Kabori scored the other day from that ridiculously tight angle, really good goal, still managed to land on his arse?
Yeah, I did mention that. Yeah. Because John and Adam were talking about, how he actually came on with a different set of boots for that game. And
It was the first thing. Yeah, first thing John mentioned at the match when Kabori came on was different boots. John was shouting it, and then he fell over.
Different boots. But yeah, so Adam and John were like, "Oh, it seemed to have worked. Didn't fall on his arse." I pointed out, well, actually, yeah, he did still fall on his arse.
But he did it in a helpful way.
Yeah.
Helped him
He did,
deceive
but
the defender.
it was a good finish. But I wonder if it's the finish that he meant, because you see, when he goes down, he's out of control there. He's lost his footing, like completely. I think he's I love the goal, love him for doing it. But I do genuinely think that he was kind of swinging his legs and they get away from him as he's hitting the ball, and he has fallen. You know what I mean? It's not like he's followed it through with so much power or something. It's like he's fallen to that.
Apparently, McInnes has been putting quotes on the dressing room walls. I think that's one he's going to put on for Kabori to look at. Trunter being like,
He's fought. Oh, it's like the Shockmaster, Jamie. It's like fell flat on his arse.
That is such a niche reference that so
That
few people
is.
listening to this podcast are going to get.
Oh, I bet you there's a sort of like 80s, 90s wrestling crossover somewhere in our
There's bound
listeners.
to be somewhere, right? So yeah, our game will be the final one. Just before that one will be Rangers against Motherwell. Now, I mean, I don't want to sort of tempt fate and look at things, but we kind of covered it last week that even if Rangers, if we did lose to Hibs and Rangers got a point, that put us on 70 each, and Rangers go ahead and goal difference, but that still gives us an opportunity to again go ahead, go top of the league again when we face Rangers. So it isn't the be all and end all. I do think there's a possibility that Rangers could drop points. I feel we talked about it last week that Rangers and Motherwell are both just, they're two teams that do things quite similarly, and it could be quite a high scoring game one way or the other. Falkirk will be playing at Parkhead. Falkirk are just such a hard team to call. Obviously, a very disappointing weekend for them, losing to their rivals. So perhaps they'll be looking to bounce back. Celtic, pretty unimpressive. I mean, they had 15 minutes of joy in that extra time, but other than that, they looked like a tired team once again. So who's to say where we will be come the end of it? But at least we'll know what we need to do by the time the game starts, which is 4:30.
What we need to do is win regardless.
Yeah, exactly that. That's
I
the
mean,
main and bottom line,
and
isn't it?
I think if we beat Hibs and Rangers, we become massive favourites. That's my position
Oh,
on this.
totally.
Like I think
for real.
there is a way where obviously if we drew against Hibs and beat Rangers, we'd be guaranteed to be top of the league, at least on goal difference.
Mhm.
We'd be guaranteed to be top of the. No, it wouldn't be on goal difference. Sorry, is that right? Yeah, if we drew against Hibs and then beat Rangers, we'd definitely be top of the league.
Yep.
But the Hibs game just feels like a really big opportunity for me
Yeah.
in terms of win that game. Going into the Rangers game, if we won the derby, it just gives you such a huge lift, and it gives you an amazing chance to open up a 4-point gap over Rangers. Because I mean, at the moment, I just can't see them dropping points at home
Hmm.
to Motherwell. I mean, at home in general. So yeah, I think if we win the derby, we're just in such an incredible position. And obviously, if we don't win, we can come away and we can say, well, the Rangers won some one that really counts. But yeah, we just whatever happens in the other games, we just need to go out there and beat Hibs.
Absolutely.
We should be
That's
winning it.
that's my position.
Really should be winning it. I think. I mean,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I'll be absolutely. There's a KP started at my work as well. A young lad called Joe. He's on his first day. He slapped up a Easter Road Ultras sticker on one of the like the paper towel dispensers because one of our chefs is a mad jambo as well. I can't not take that from a 16-year-old man. I cannot do it. It's just too much.
Hunter, is it not a sackable offence putting Hibs stickers up?
No, because I think one of our like owners has Leith tendencies, so probably be a promotion if anything.
That's disappointing.
I asked Andy, the Hibs friend, how how are Hibs fans generally feeling about the game. He said, confidence is high, repeat, confidence is high. All the games have been close this season if you discount some fluky last minute winners. Fuck off. We're still chasing fourth, plus the extra incentive of knocking you off the top spot is going to make it pretty spicy. And then said, so 0-0 it is then. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that Hibs fans are in their own deluded way confident. And if rumours are to be believed, then David Gray was in a pub saying that he fully expects to wipe the floor with us on Sunday, and that his team are much better than Motherwell as well. Again, only rumours, but that's the one doing the rounds. So let's wrap it up then, guys. predictions for the Edinburgh Derby at the weekend. This is why John's not here, right? Because he's too much of a Jesse to predict the score.
Oh
for
yeah.
He always likes to skip out on that one. Anyway, well, his brother can do instead. Adam, what are you thinking?
3-0 Hearts.
Yes. Fucking yes. Who's scoring?
I'm gonna go safe and go Shanklin double and Braga.
Okay. Keeping it real. What about you, Trunter?
Dramatic 2-1 to Hearts. I think Shanks scores early-ish on. Hibs come back. And then late on, Saba Karjata comes on. Goes for a big cross into the box. Stops. Pulls it back. Sees Benny Beningame running through the middle. Full tilt. Benny humps it into the back of the Hibs net and we go mental. It's going to happen.
Love it.
Stick that on the wall, Deek.
I'm going back-to-back 3-1s for the Gorgie. It's going to be good to see Finlay back in amongst them, scoring from a corner. Kizaridis, can you believe it? He's back with one of those little curling efforts.
Oh, about time, mate.
And Shankland recreating the fingers in the ears celebration from Big Toby when he scored to make it a third goal against Hibs.
The new hammer of
At
Hibs
Easter
takes him
Road.
up to 7.
Indeed it does. Okay, well, whatever the result, we will be back on Monday, hopefully celebrating the third Derby win of the season and taking Hearts, or keeping Hearts, at the top of the table. Until then, do follow us on our socials. Like I say, it'll be me, myself, Trunter, and Adam, all Easter Road. So we'll post stories on Instagram and keep you up to date of the away day there. And also, we're on X and we're also on Blue Sky. You can email us, as always, at heartsandsleevespodcast@outlook.com. Mon the Jambos. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.